Hello and welcome to the item guide. In this video we're going to look at Yuri's utilities. So we'll start off with his jump and movement, and then we'll go down the stats bar. So Yuri can take out quite well on his own. He can get moving pretty well on his own. But Yuri doesn't have the traditional jump. As you can see, he has the ability to fly with his jetpack. So his jetpack takes a little while for him to get going. It doesn't take much to hit a Yuri. If you are able to get within range, or especially melee damage, you can shut it off if you get a good hit on him. Where Yuri can't dodge shots very well, he has the advantage of trying to stay out of range. Or, if he wants to, he can just toggle it on or off. So, I can't speak for controllers specifically, but for keyboards anyway, you press, well, on keyboards W or up, whatever your layout may be, to turn on and ascend with the jetpack. And using the directional keys, or WASD, you just use that to move around. It doesn't affect your jetpack status. But for the keyboard, you just press space, and it toggles on or off. Like so. On, off. So you kind of get a little boost upwards, but you get that canceling of speed, so it doesn't help you make getaways any faster. Makes you a little more predictable, so if you're going for a more advanced playstyle, you could cancel that or anything like that. So something you could combine, use mines to get a hit on an enemy or anything like that. Food for thought if you're trying to improve your Yuri gameplay. So going over health, Yuri can start off with 1350 health, or roughly 7 bars of health, where each line represents 200 health, so almost about 7. But you may notice if you're counting that there's about 7 bars of health or more where some time has gone by. So every 90 seconds in a match, a character will grow 3% to their maximum health, and that will go on to the 15-minute mark. So a character can grow 30% maximum. So even if you do join a match late, it's retroactive, which means whatever the time in the match, that's how much health you'll naturally have. So it's not like if you join a match late, you'll have just the base default. You just have however far it is in the match. 10 minutes in, you'll have however far in, but after 15 minutes, you'll have 30% more health on Yuri. That 30% would make it 1755. So after the 15-minute mark, that's how much you would have. So it is quite a bit more. It would help Yuri survive some attacks a bit better. And we'll go further into the health percentages with the Power Pill's Turbo. So everybody can regenerate 600 health per minute, or 3 bars of health in 60 seconds. So 10 health per second, I believe it is. So it can help with damage over time. As long as the damage over time isn't too aggressive, or if you just take a little bit too late, you are able to survive it in that rate. And everybody can do that as well. And everybody starts out with 235, and it's up to you to collect more solar from gathering it from the environment, falling from the drop pod, or otherwise getting kills or helping get kills. That's how you get your extra solar. But otherwise, you get 30 extra solar per minute, or 1 every 2 seconds, I believe anyway. So even if you go for a little while without getting killed, you're still making some money if you're not able to get the kills on droids, or you're not staying to collect solar for any reason. You can get a little bit even if you're not doing all that much. So you will slowly make money like I am doing right now. Every 2 seconds, 1 piece of solar appears. And with movement being aerial, so Yuri does have the advantage of flying wherever he darn well pleases. So that can work well in his favor, but that does factor in speed, having that technology on his back. And height is 1.4. I'm not sure how to really explain this. Maybe this is a decent reference. Kinda short, but he's not all that fast either. But you can improve that with certain items as well. Okay, we will go our way down the list, going from left to right, and we will go into info on those. Okay, starting with the first item on the list, the Power Pill's Turbo. Can be about 3 times, 130 solar each time. This will increase the maximum health by 12% per upgrade. This only factors in what the default max health is, doesn't apply to what your max health may be if it's affected by an outside source, Genji's items, that gives you extra max health. Or if you're buying the pills after the 15-minute mark, it doesn't factor in what your current max health is. It's 12% of 1350, so do take note into that. But I wouldn't expect many people to buy power pills at the very start of a match. It's very rare, but just for the sake of it, just factor in 3% every 90 seconds. You want to know exactly how much health you have. I might put in the video someplace, but it's not very much. 3%, it's only 40.5, so every 90 seconds you get an extra 40.5 extra health. So not a great deal, but it can help with turrets or weedlings, might help block some attacks from that, or barely save you from a burst attack. So for that 12%, 1350, you would have 1512, like so. So that gives me an extra 162 health, and I'm regenerating some health, so that kind of shows I'm getting some health back per second. So 162 health per upgrade. So for the second upgrade, I would have 1674 base default, so it shows double that. And then if I do it once more, I would have 1836 in full. And that's just factoring in the base defaults. After 15 minutes, we'll go from the beginning to the very end. I'm not going to bother with in between, so kind of give you an idea of how much you would have at the very beginning, or if you wait 15 minutes or longer to get all the upgrades. So let's see, that 30% extra, the base default will make it 1755 plus 162, so one upgrade would be 1917, or if I buy it twice, it would be 2079, so 10 bars of health that you could have if you wait, or if you are still in the match after 15 minutes, or once more, it will be 2241. So you can get quite a bit of health with Yuri if you are able to stay in the battle long enough, or just hang around long enough to get all the upgrades. So Yuri may not seem like he has all that much health, but he does have mobility, well, verticality on his side, so you can either work at it to stay out of the way, or make a quick entrance to make a good escape as well. So it can work in your favor if you are able to do that. Okay, next item in the list is the Medican. You can buy twice, 90 solar each time. This increase your regeneration up to either 1300 or 2000 health per minute. So default is 600. This will add a 700 plus to each upgrade. So just to simplify this, I got all the power pills and I waited 15 minutes, so I have the maximum amount of health, just to be able to show how much health I can get back without it topping or anything like that. So I'll show defaults and I'll let it go for a minute, just to kind of show how much health you can get in a minute. So by default, I should be able to get 600 health back in a minute's time. So 1547, we'll be back in a minute. Okay, about a minute's passed, so about 3 bars of health, so the default seems to be working for Yuri. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to buy one upgrade, and that should have me up to 1300 health per minute, or roughly 7 bars of health should be back in my... should be regenerated before the minute's out, so I will do that. Take some health damage, like so, and test it in a minute's time. Okay, so about 1 bar of health I had left, so it's about 7 bars of health. So it's about 1300 health back per minute, so not exactly 7 bars, about 6.5 roughly so. But it kind of gives you an idea how much faster it can regenerate. Rather than the 6 bars of health, you get an extra 6.5 bars of health. We can double that, so it should be 2000 health back in a minute's time. So just giving you an idea of perhaps having max regeneration would be best for you. That's something that you want to get. So I'll take a little bit more damage and count it down a minute from now. So about a minute's passed. So in about a minute's time, if you have your max regeneration, you can get nearly all your health back if you have that minute to spare, though. If you're trying to fly around just avoiding fights, might not work that best, but it will fight out damage over time quite nicely. So this will get you health back almost no matter what. I think if you're in a fight, it will pause. I'm not entirely sure, but if you're not really doing anything, if you're fighting against droids, but I think if you... I'm not sure of the specifics of it, but as long as you don't take too much damage, you're able to get back either Well, it's either 600 by default, 1300 with one upgrade, or 2000 health back in a minute's time. Just as long as you have that minute to let yourself get that health back. Or if you'd rather, use this one instead. Okay, this is an alternative or an addition to regenerating health if you choose. The Solar Crabburgers, new to Yuri in 2.8.2. Same as it is, just it's available to Yuri. That's the only difference. 100 solar, so every coin you touch, whether it's silver or gold, you will get 50 health back. So this rewards more active playstyle if you're fighting droids, or if you're trying to get kills as much as you can. You'll get a little bit health back from it. I don't think you'll get, let me think, 30 solar in gold coins, 6 or 7 maybe? Using math off the top of my head. Anyway, so every coin you will touch, each one will give you 50 health, so just for the sake of testing, I'll give myself max health. And if I get that, every coin I touch, I'll get a little health back, and you'll hear that little noise that kind of sounds like a boost. That tells you that it's working. So like that, like that. So let myself take a little bit of damage just to do that. So if I were to use one of these droids here, show my health here. If I'm fighting droids, I'll get rewarded for doing so. So you don't have to back off the lanes entirely. You can just back off from the enemy and just push lanes, take out some droids and do it that way. So what I'll try to do, well, as you can see there, it works pretty well for clearing lanes. I'm just going to try to test out if it works pretty well against taking out turrets or getting kills, and see if that affects the Solar Crabburger, because I'm wondering if you get the last hit, if you get the solar back from that. Like that. It doesn't seem to be a whole lot, just a few coins, if anything, but in this instance, for example, getting a little bit of health back. Like so. So yeah, if I'm able to, for example, if an enemy were to die from a neutral source, and if all their solar fell into the ground, that would be ideal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fast forward it until one of the turrets go down when the solar's laying in the ground. And I'll try to collect that then, and show you how much the Solar Crabburger goes into use. Okay, getting ready to show if this will, see how much health I'll get back from this. So let the droids go by. So all that solar laying there, like so, quite a bit. So just to prove that point, just if you can pick up, the more solar you pick up the ground, the more health you'll get back. So regardless of value, it just seems to be the coin itself. So silver would be more ideal, but solar, gold solar, it will just heal the same regardless. So if someone dies to a neutral cause from a droid or solar boss or anything like that from the worm, if there's just a pile of solar, try to pick it up so that you both get lots of solar and you get a bunch of health regeneration as well. Okay, Space Air Max, 135 solar. This will increase Yuri's speed by 1, so theoretically a second faster. So I'll test this out in 2 ways. One, I'll just walk across to the other side of the map of that equivalent to this side, and I'll try it with the jetpack and see if that affects anything. And I'll try to have a timer somewhere on the screen as well. So do bear in mind, you kind of, if you squeeze the wall too close, you have a slower takeoff time. So yeah, from there to there. Okay, here we go. Like so. So not too slow, but not too fast either. So that seems to be how fast he goes on default. And with jetpack, okay, gonna try at this level just so he runs to the wall this time. Okay, here we go. So do bear in mind that if you're too close to the wall, you kind of squeeze out of it. So takeoff time's a little bit longer than usual. However, it is a little bit longer because even then, it's like that or that, where it's that or that. So you do see a noticeable difference there. So with a speed upgrade from this, we can see how much better it is. So like so. You can kind of notice the difference on that already because he's making quite a bit of progress in that regard. So that's how he is on his feet, how much faster he travels, and how much faster he travels through jetpack. So a little faster wind-up time, but he seems to be going quite a bit faster. And like so. So with the boots, you can kind of just be more agile. If anything, just to avoid shots, or just to get through a situation, or just to escape from one better. Because Yuri doesn't have the best escape. He does have lots of power with his mines, or he can try to work a situation in his favor with the time warp. So escaping is a little tricky to do with Yuri, but it's certainly possible. And maybe the Space Air Max would help you with that. Okay, just gonna jump over to the Piggy Bank. Free of charge, this will give you 130 solar, in the cost of taking up a spot. So if you buy that, you get an extra 130 solar, but now you have only 2 other items to choose from. So where you might want to pick something else. If you aren't planning on using other items, you might want to use this at the start of a match just to get that extra head start, because Yuri's items are fairly costly. Might give you a head start in the mines, or save up for something else you're building into, because some of the items aren't ridiculous. Some items you can build in pretty quickly if you just buy one ability then buy an item. That can help you with that, but do be careful of not leaving yourself too exposed, because where you get Piggy Bank, you might have to get Baby Carrying Mammoth because of a scoop, or Leon using silence, Vidian Spike using silence. Some enemies who are being crafty with debuffs, or if you need to work against the Nah, you could use this as well, either one of these. So before you get this, make sure that you can take care of yourself if you take up a spot. Do you need any extra health, or do you need any life regen in some way? Extra speed or debuffs? Make sure that you're not going to regret taking up that spot. As long as you have an item that can fill that gap, well, with this maybe. But we'll talk about that with this item here. Okay, last item on the list is the Baby Carry Mammoth. Can be bought twice, 110 solar each time. This will reduce the majority of debuffs. It's the same as every other one. Slow, being slowed down. Stun, not being able to move, but being able to use your abilities in some cases. Snare. Well, stun, not being able to move at all. Snare, being trapped, but you can still use your abilities. Stun, you just can't move yourself whatsoever. Silence, you can move, but you can't use your abilities at all. So a little confusing there. Blind, there's around you, you can see, but it's black and white, and then the rest of the screen is blotched. Amplified damage, some characters can use this. If you see a broken shield above you, that means you can take more damage. You take mini crits, I would say. You take a percentage more damage, depends on the character. Penny can do that, and Nah can do that as well, amplified damage. So it doesn't affect knockback at all, and it doesn't affect slowdown either. So Redline's Time Writ, or Yuri's Time Warp itself, or knockback, it doesn't do anything against. However, you might want to use this, or you might want to use this item instead. The Space-Time Continuity Device. This gives immunity to every debuff. So you might want to use this, or you might want to use this. This does cover everything, and I mean everything, including the jump pads. And I do a video on the Time Warp for 2.8.2 if you want to see that. But for this only works when you have Time Warp enabled. This works all the time, but only reduces the select debuffs up to half. So it will reduce blind for up to half the time, or reduce silence for up to half the time. Depends on when you need to use it, or you have enemies who are being smart and waiting until after your Time Warp and then using debuffs. Depends on what you want to use, but it's entirely up to you. So that's the utilities for Yuri in patch 2.8.2. If this changes in some way, I will try to update it as soon as I can. We'll see how Solar Crabburgers works out for Yuri. So, thanks very much for watching.